back to the Gloves Off podcast. I'm your host, Kendall Skalicki.
And I'm Josh Bartosik.
I guess we'll address the elephant in the room. Josh took a tumble on his way. It's like feels like it's about 10 degrees right now, I think.
It's so bad. That's the worst part about it. Well, actually, the worst part about it is that I was maybe 20 steps away from getting into the building, and I just ate crap in front of at least 20 people, and they all stared at me, and I had to just get up and act like I was fine, but my hand was like covered in blood. It was really bad, and it hurt a lot because it's really cold outside.
Yeah.
So I have this cool battle scar, just a Band-Aid.
Yeah, the embarrassment's worse than the wound.
The embarrassment is worse. I'm on this podcast to officially announce that I'm transferring for the final 15 weeks of my college career, because it was that bad.
That's
Not
great.
as bad as watching the Penn State football game last week, though.
Oh, yes! That was the other thing I forgot to ask Dylan about. That was not fun. But you know what I've realized since that is maybe it was for the best because we're getting so many guys back.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing one final run. I personally...
I think we would have lost in the...
they would have...
Absolutely.
Yeah, they would have lost.
So, maybe it's a blessing in disguise. Maybe we're just trying to make ourselves feel better. But, I am starting to feel that way.
Yeah, I think the tough part for me is that I would have gone to cover the national championship.
Oh, no.
And it was that close. But, maybe Jarella just wanted me to save some money. So it's okay. The team wanted me to save some money.
In the moment, it was honestly, that and the Michigan game, the hockey game that we lost a few years ago, that was, the same feeling.
Oh, my God,
those feeling. It was like that. I
the only two times I think I've ever actually cried over a Penn State game was the Michigan hockey game 2 years ago in Allentown, and then full game this past weekend. I mean, still a fantastic season regardless, and no one should really hang their heads. I think they did a lot better than a lot of people expected them to.
Yeah, it was just a really tough way to go out.
Yeah, but they fought through a ton of adversity throughout the entire year to get to that spot. I mean, it was great.
They did. Another fun thing is me and Josh got to do the Big Ten Plus stream together for Michigan State.
For the first time.
Yes, Josh.
And we got re-aired on Big Ten Network.
Yes.
Earlier today, actually.
I forgot. I had my class started at 9 a.m., so I didn't get to watch.
My mom was sending me a bunch of photos of us on the TV.
Yeah, it went well. We're still figuring out the kinks with putting me in as ringside, but Josh always does an amazing job.
Too kind.
At the end, it got a little wonky because so basically what happens is I was trying to pull someone, but they're not looking at they just beat the best team in the country. They're not looking at the bench at me. They're celebrating. They want to do the alma mater. So, but the game's over. People watching the stream are going to turn it off. So, but in the future, we talked to the SID, and he's going to grab someone right away. But I had to, I had no choice but to wait for them to finish the alma mater. So Josh had to just, keep talking for, 5 extra minutes. And I just kept hearing him say, oh, yeah, the momentum this is going to bring. What a win, over
it was
and
just,
over.
Yeah. I sound like a broken record, but we had to
you did what you had to. And then when they cut to me, I didn't realize my mic was on yet, and Dylan was not ready, and I was sorry guys, give me 1 sec. And my mom thought that I thought I was talking, I was basically telling the stream hold on 1 sec guys, and she was you can't say that. I was I wasn't talking to the stream. I didn't know they unmuted my mic, but it was definitely wonky. Then Dylan got water poured on him, but it made out for a good interview. It was a fun moment.
It was awesome. It was great. I mean, the entire, even though they didn't win game 1, I mean, taking 2 points against the top team in the nation is nothing to scoff at. And I think, I'll say what I said 55 times into the game. I think it's a huge momentum builder, honestly. And I think it helps that they play a team that they should easily beat this weekend in Canisius, and then use that momentum to hopefully finish strong in the Big Ten.
Yeah, for sure. This weekend should be really fun. Hopefully there's no surprises and they can just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, hopefully.
You never know with Penn State. But today, I keep saying Dylan because today we're having senior Dylan Lugris on, who scored the game-winning goal against Michigan State. He is such a good guy. He's very well spoken, an all-around, just great person. So we're super excited to have him on. We are here with Dylan Lugris. Dylan, thank you so much for coming on. This is a little bit last minute, but we appreciate it.
No, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, we're really excited. So, obviously, you guys are on a really exciting run right now. But we're going to go back to Notre Dame because we haven't done an episode since before winter break, so it's been a minute. But Josh was at Wrigley. I was not. So, Josh, do you want to touch on your experience there quickly?
It was cold.
Yeah.
It was really, really cold. No, it was great. Getting to go down there. We were rinkside for the game, which was super cool.
Oh, yes, I saw that on Instagram.
Yeah, it was even colder down there. It was like really, really bad. But yeah, I mean, it was awesome. Just walking onto that field and seeing what it looked like. I mean, they did a fantastic job, obviously for the Stadium Series too.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere was great. They did a really good job marketing it and making it really fun for everybody there. And then just the game itself was fantastic. I mean, it was one of the best games. I mean, all 4 of the games really that weekend were awesome. They were all nail biters, but that one was really, really awesome.
Yeah.
I think my favorite moment though was Adriana right before, you might have seen it actually, Dylan, I'm not sure. Right before you guys walked out for the third period, she fell up the stair right in front of Arseni.
Oh, no. I didn't see that.
And, like, it was really embarrassing. Like, she got a lot of chirps from the linesman about it. But,
Oh, my God.
no, I mean, top 3 experience. I don't think I'll ever forget. It was fantastic. I'm sure it was obviously better being out there on the ice. But
Yeah.
I'll take rinkside any day of the week.
Yeah, were you cold out there? Were you one of the guys warming up in your T-shirt or no?
Like, I don't know. It was really cold warming up for sure. But, like, a lot of guys, I had a shiesty on for warm-ups. I didn't really like it, so I took it off. Like, it was more like my ears that were, like, cold because
Yeah.
we have the cuts off. So my ears and, like, my jaw was cold, but everything else was fine. Ben, our equipment guy, hooked us up pretty good, so
Yeah.
it was all right.
How was the atmosphere? Like, were you surprised when you got there, or was it what you were expecting?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when we were, like, walking into the stadium, we walked, like, through the concourse. So, like, it wasn't like
Okay.
the typical you walk through the back, you don't see anybody. Like, we were walking through the concession stands. People were buying hot dogs and beer, and, like, we were all in a line, like, going into the game, which was cool. But, yeah, the atmosphere was great. There was tons of people there. I didn't think there was going to be that many people.
Yeah, that's awesome. It looked so cool. But anyway, the actual game, did it feel different out there being outside or not really?
I mean, yeah, it definitely was different, especially, like, when the puck would go in the air, you'd kind of, like, lose it in the stands because it was so dark out.
Yeah.
The ice was, like, I mean, there was a Big Ten game right before us, so I think even if we played at Bagula, the ice still would have been, like, pretty tough. But, like, honestly, they did, like, a pretty first-class job with everything. Like, it was such a great experience getting to play out there like that with the fireworks and the fans, and,
Yeah,
like, they did a really good job.
that's so cool. So anyway, it was a good game, and then you guys got to the shootout. I'm curious, like, I like, can't even watch when you guys go into, like, I was literally in my room, I had it on the TV, and I was like, I'm going to throw up. Like, I can't even, like, so when you realize you're going into a shootout, do you get nervous anymore or not really?
Yeah, like, you definitely get a little nervous, like, for sure. I think as soon as you step onto the ice, though, that kind of, like, at least for me, like, it kind of goes away, and you try to, like, lock in as best you can.
I can't even imagine, like, being sent out there and,
Yeah.
like, the side.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it makes me, like, my stomach turn.
Yeah.
Especially when it goes 8 rounds.
Yeah.
It's like midnight already by that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely, like, when you get the tap and they say you're going, you definitely have that initial, like, anxious rush.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I think you kind of just, like, focus in. And, I mean, getting to go in the shootout itself, even though you don't score, is still, like, you know, a privilege. So
Yeah.
it was great.
How many thoughts like rush through your head? Like, does time sort of slow down, or do you like almost run out of time thinking about the move you're gonna make?
No, it honestly, like, kind of slows down. I mean, you're kind of in control of everything you do at that point. Like, it's just you and the goalie, so you can kind of go as slow as you need. And I think, like, you know, we do it all the time in practice. We practice it all the time, so you kind of just got to go back to what you're used to, I think.
Do you decide what you're gonna do before you start, or is it just like you're right in the moment, you do whatever you're feeling?
Some guys kind of make it up as they go. I know what I'm going to do before I do it.
Okay.
I don't do the same thing every time, but, like, I definitely have an idea of what I'm going to do before I do it, for
Yeah.
sure.
I always like remember Lamps in the shootouts. Like, he did the same thing every
Yeah.
time.
It worked
Like,
every
wait,
time,
Yeah,
yeah.
it did. That was awesome.
Against Notre Dame last year too. Funny
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. So yeah, that was an unfortunate ending. But then you guys go see Notre Dame again, and RC shut them out. So talk us through that game.
I mean, we were just super happy for him in general because he's been battling through the injuries
Yeah.
in the fall. Like, it was tough, and he's such a competitor. So, like, him not being on the ice was killing him, and we all, like, wanted him to get back as soon as possible. So he did a great job, and, you know, all the guys kind of rallied behind him, and he played great. And kind of getting that first, like, regulation Big Ten win was, like, huge for us, like, confidence-wise. We really needed that.
Yeah, I mean, kind of talk about the confidence because you guys played really well against Notre Dame in that first game too, and Coach kind of mentioned that in media after that game that like, despite still being down because you lost in the shootout, you guys kind of felt like it was one of your more complete games of the season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that like obviously it takes time. Like we have a lot of freshmen. Like it's a process. And like for us, we don't have like a exhibition preseason, so like we don't kind of get to get the knots out. So I think like over time, it's just a learning experience for a lot of people, like even myself included, being a senior and taking on new roles and stuff. So I think like now we're at a spot where when we played Notre Dame that first night, even though we didn't come out with a win, it was still like we were starting to catch our groove. And then the next night we did really well. So I was proud of the team.
And tell me if you agree with this. Your coach was saying that he feels like when John was in net, you guys wanted him to do so well and like you were working so hard in front of him. So now having RC back, he feels that like that really benefited you guys and now you're playing that way but also really confident with RC behind you. So do you feel like that's what's happened?
Yeah, I mean, John had a great story. Like, obviously we wanted him to win so bad just
Yeah.
because of his background and stuff, and he's a great guy. And I definitely think that, like, bled over with RC. Like, it kind of just, like, we had to play that certain way. And then when RC got in the back in the net, it kind of just, like, kept going. We kind of kept that same mentality. Like, we're going to still defend as hard as we can no matter who's in net. And I think that helps, anybody playing goalie, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think that this kind of early, I mean, it's tough to really say hot streak, but it really is, even though you only have like the 2 wins during it, or really just the 1 win because 2 ties. But you guys seem like you're playing a lot better. Do you think that it kind of builds momentum going forward for, I mean, after this week, it's kind of a gauntlet, Ohio State, Michigan, Wisconsin, like all back to back.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like, we felt that we played good enough to beat Michigan State the first night. Like, honestly, I thought that we played really well up until the end. We got in penalty trouble a little bit. But honestly, yeah, I think that with how the first half went, picking up these, the 1 win and the 2 ties was still, like, huge for our confidence because we have a pretty tough schedule going through the last stretch, but it's also, like, a big opportunity because if we beat those teams, like, we're right back in the race. And, like, that gives us all the confidence in the world to go to Michigan State and maybe take 1 from them, 2 from them, so.
Another theme from like last year to this year that me and Josh talk about a lot too is we feel like the mental strength component this year is a lot stronger than last year, almost like, and we're talking as like outsiders looking in, so correct me if I'm wrong, but watching it almost seemed like I guess you guys would get frustrated quicker, like give up a little sooner in a way, and now it seems like you guys can bounce back a little bit quicker, and like it seems like that aspect of the team's game has grown a lot this year.
Yeah, I think last year, like, there was a couple of games where we would get scored on within the first 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was just such a defeating feeling because it was like, well, now we got to dig ourselves out of the hole. Even though we had, 3 periods left and we had all the time in the world to do it. For whatever reason, it just kind of sunk us. So I think now, like, our whole mentality is to start the fight right away. And whether, like, that doesn't mean going through 4 guys and getting a shot in net. It means getting pucks behind them, playing hard, making sure that they're not going to get to the net, and kind of establishing that, like, hard forecheck and strong defense right out of the gate instead of letting the game come to you. So I think for sure this year we've been better with that.
It's been kind of easy, or it's been not necessarily easy, but it's been noticeable at times because even the games that you guys were losing in the Big Ten earlier this year, the Wisconsin games, you guys came back from multi-goal deficits in both of those. You came back from a late deficit against Michigan State, and just like the adversity that you guys have faced, I think, or at least do you think that it helps going down the road? I mean, because again, it is, the rest of January is not necessarily terrible, but February, that schedule is a gauntlet.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely think it's better if you do it earlier in the season because then you have more to learn from and you can kind of like make adjustments. But we try to do our best every weekend with the mental side of it. I think watching the volleyball team go through, I forget what the percentage was, but they had like a super small percentage to even win a set in like their semifinal game.
Yeah.
And they made the national game and they came back and won. And like we kind of use that as like motivation for ourselves, seeing a team like that go all the way and win the whole thing. And then the Michael Murphy stuff we did in the beginning of the year, like facing adversity, I think we're starting to find that in our game more and more. So I think going through the first start, I mean, nobody wants to go through that, but it's definitely better than going through that at the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. And then moving on to Michigan State, you touched on it a little bit, but also obviously you had that huge goal at the end, but you have been doing really well on the score sheets these last few weeks. Do you feel like something's clicking for you now, or did your mindset change? Like, what do you feel has gone differently?
I definitely think I was like gripping the stick a little too tight, like in the beginning of the year. Just like as a senior, it's tough because it's like this might be my last go at it. So it's like you want to do everything you can, and sometimes doing more is actually doing less. So I kind of had to switch my mentality to like more like calm and collected, and I kind of have more of a shoot first mentality, which has helped. But like honestly, like none of it's been possible without like the people I've been playing with. Like they've been unbelievable in supporting and making the right plays at the right times and playing as good as defense so we can go to offense as quick as possible. So it's been great all around.
And you personally, you're someone that maybe doesn't necessarily light up the score sheet every single night, but when you do get on the score sheet, it's in those clutch moments, those pivotal goals. Thinking back to last year against Notre Dame and I think Alaska Anchorage too, just what kind of goes into your mindset? Like, what do you think gives you that sort of like clutch factor?
I don't know, honestly. I never really think too much about it, honestly. I know that's a boring answer, but like I don't know. Like when the game's like that close, like you really need, I just kind of like, I don't really hear anything. I just kind of zone out. And if I get put on the ice, like my goal is to try and score, like for us or for me or for everybody else. Like we want to tie the game. We're trying to go 100% all the time. So
how good did that winning goal feel on Saturday?
It definitely felt good, like especially because the week before we were in Notre Dame and like I had a chance to do something similar and it didn't go and we ended up losing. But getting to do it in front of people with all my buddies there, like that was like, I mean, that was like a top 3 moment of my career ever for sure.
What was the thought process behind the little bow in your celebration?
That was my next question.
I don't know, honestly. Like I've been, it's really crazy to say, but I've been thinking of doing that since my freshman year, and I've never had the opportunity to do it because there's only like you can only do it in special like moments like that,
right?
Where nobody else can do it back to you, right? So I kind of like forgot about it, and then I realized I had the chance to do it, so I did it. But I definitely got a lot of chirps for that, for sure.
Well, and then kind of following up, you got, for lack of a better term, you got absolutely mobbed at the end there. How'd you make sure you didn't get injured on that? Because you guys went crashing hard into the boards.
Yeah, Daner came after me pretty good. Honestly, like I don't even remember much of it besides my back, like smacking the ice. So, but like everybody was just so excited and so happy. Like you don't even really think about what your body feels like.
Right.
You kind of just like let it all happen. So luckily nobody got hurt, so it was good.
Yeah, that was such a cool moment. But so senior year, how are you feeling? Are you like kind of feeling ready? Are you sad? Like I mean, I know you're not thinking you're not done yet, but like going into this year, like how are you feeling as a senior in general, even outside of hockey?
Definitely bittersweet for sure. Like I never thought that I would be at a place like this. Like my goal, my dream ever since I was like 5-6 years old was to play Division I hockey. And this place gave me the opportunity to do that. So it's with senior night coming up, it's definitely been more like
senior night's early this year.
Yeah,
it's this Saturday. Weekend. Just so weird.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Because the Wear White games.
Yeah, it's like later on, right?
Yeah, it's the last week of the season. It's such a weird schedule this year, but
I don't know. But yeah, it's definitely been. Now that we're starting to get into those like last few months, it's definitely been more emotional, and my parents are going to every game they can and stuff. Yeah. So it's been great seeing them, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna really miss this place a lot. This place is home.
Well, kind of go back to that freshman year because you were someone that didn't necessarily have a normal route to D1 hockey. You joined halfway through the year. What was that transition like? Like not just to D1 hockey, but also like the teammates, the culture, getting involved in the locker room and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, I gotta tip my cap to like my classmates, like Carson Dick was my roommate my freshman year, Simon Mack, Dan Geniev, like all those guys, Ben Schoen. Like they really made me feel like I was a part of it, even though I came in late. And I think like what Penn State does really well is that the guys come in during the summer and they get to know all the older guys and they train for a while and then they have preseason in the fall. And that was obviously something that I missed out on. And I definitely wish I could have done that. But within like a week, I already felt like I was really close with these guys. Like they made me feel very welcome right out of the gate, and like I wouldn't trade my experience for anything. Like looking back on it now.
What's your major? Because you have a job lined up already, don't
Yeah,
you? I heard.
yeah, I do.
Wow.
I'm a corporate innovation and entrepreneurship major.
Okay.
Xander Lampa showed me the way. So, yeah, I accepted a job with Insight Global.
Oh,
so they're like, yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. So I'm gonna
Well,
start
that's
in
a
Boston.
huge weight off your shoulder.
Yeah, for sure. In the fall, I was interviewing at hockey school. Like, it was very hectic, but I'm glad to like kind of
At least have that lined
hone
up,
in.
yeah.
It's locked up. So now I'm like kind of honing in on enjoying my last couple of months here and like spending time with my friends and stuff.
So is hockey in the picture for you in the future, or do you think this is going to be your last run?
I'm not sure. Like, honestly, I just wanted to have a really good backup plan just in case it
Yeah.
didn't work out. I think that's just the smart thing to do.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I've looked at a lot of different ideas of what that could look like. And I would be okay because of the experiences that I've had at Penn State. I would be okay if it ended after, the spring, just because like these past 3.5, 4 years have been the best of my life. And I don't know if you can even top it no matter
Yeah.
where you go.
Well, kind of what, with that in mind, with these last few months, what do you want your senior classes like lasting impact to be on this program?
I mean, we actually had a meeting with the freshmen yesterday. We kind of talked to them about this stretch and how really important it is that every game is now a playoff game. Like, I think what we want to leave is that, like, Penn State has given our class, like, such an opportunity to excel. In the classroom, on the ice, outside, in the community. It's such an amazing place that I could never imagine going anywhere else. Like, so I guess it's to have pride in where you are, where you're from, and now that you're in a place like this, making the most of your opportunities and never taking a day for granted.
Going back to getting involved in the community, you were a huge part of you kind of started the Sled Hockey Classic. Can you talk us through how that got started? You were like the first point of contact for that, right?
So basically they were going on Sundays before I got here, but then after like a year of me going, I kind of thought that we could do more than just kind of practice with them. So yeah, like I reached out to the head over there and talked to Sarah Becker a little bit and DJ and Alexis, and they were like, yeah, like we don't have a lot of money here. This is just kind of stuff for fun we do. We'd love to play games, but we can't really travel. It's very difficult. So I said, we have the capabilities of doing something for you guys. So why don't we host a game in your honor, raise some money, and play against you guys? Because they never played in games. They would just practice on Sunday.
Yeah. It's so awesome, too. Like, I did a story on it for school last year, and I had to, like, interview some of the parents and stuff, and, like, they were just so excited and, like, so happy to be there. It's just, like, such an awesome event. And then you got the Hockey Humanitarian Award for that, too. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
But so, obviously, you're successful in hockey, you're successful in school, you're getting involved in the community. How do you balance everything? Have you ever gotten burnt out?
Yeah, like, I'm not going to lie, like, you can definitely burn out. Like, I definitely have to make sure that my schedule is in order. I have to keep it very, like, strict, like, on my computer. I have to know exactly what I'm doing from day to day. But honestly, if you just dial in what you need to do every day, it's not, like, anything too crazy. I mean, everybody has a little bit of time. And, something that we, as athletes here in a community like this, like, we definitely have a bigger platform than most to kind of make an impact. And I think that that's something that's kind of undervalued. And I think for Penn State and Thon and everything, like, athletes are given a great opportunity to kind of give back to the community that gives to us. So it's easy doing it.
Yeah. Have you always been, like, pretty type A?
Like, in high school, like, not really. And then when I got to, like, my senior year and then when I was in juniors, like, I kind of realized, like, I had to grow up a little bit.
Yeah.
And kind of had to, like, dial in. I started taking classes in juniors and realized that, like, if I wanted to, like, really be successful, I had to, like, actually put in more effort than I was used to. So
how was the experience with juniors for you? Because I feel like everyone says different things. Reese was saying how he actually that was not his favorite time in his life, and then other guys say it was, like, the best thing they've done. So what was that like for you?
Mixed bag, for sure. Like, I was super lucky. My Bill family's actually coming this weekend. Like, I'm super close with them.
Awesome.
I feel like a second, group of parents for me, and their kids are like brothers. So I was lucky enough to live in a great spot with great people. and it allowed me to really focus on just hockey, which allowed me to like develop as a player. But it was also like that's all you're doing. So it got to a point where I was like, this can't like I was like I can't do this like, and especially when colleges weren't really reaching out to me, I was like, what am I doing with my life? I was like, I feel like I'm wasting time. But
it seems like that age seems to be tricky for a lot of athletes.
Yeah, it's definitely tough, and being away from home too is another bag to open. But like I don't know, it ended up being the best thing that could have happened to me because it allowed me to come here. So
yeah, so with senior night coming up and stuff, when you look back, what are your favorite memories like with the team or at Penn State?
There's so many. Like, there's definitely a lot that I couldn't say, but like, I mean, my whole freshman year feels like it was like the best. Like freshman year is the best. Yeah. Oh my gosh, it was the best.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like it was so exciting.
Freshman
like
year was my least favorite year.
Really?
Yeah.
That was
I was
junior year
just
because
so
of
overwhelmed.
workload.
Yeah.
As a freshman?
Yeah,
Well, I guess with, like,
my
new
high school
environment.
was so small, and like I was just really overwhelmed. But by the end, I started liking it, and then I feel like sophomore year on, like I loved it. But yeah, freshman year, that's interesting that was your favorite.
Freshman year was great for me because I was kind of just like thrown into the mix.
Yeah.
And it was just such an exciting time because for years I'd always just wanted to play college hockey, and I was getting to play college hockey at Penn State. So it was like, I mean, I was over the moon the whole year. I don't think I didn't smile like the entire time. Like, it's
so nice for you guys too, like coming in, obviously like that's a part of being an athlete, but like having that team, having the facility, having coaches look out for you, like that has to be so cool to be a part of, like especially coming in as, how old were you as a freshman?
I was 20, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was 20.
Yeah, but to have like so many people around you right off the bat, like that has to just be like an awesome
and the fans, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
that
cool.
too.
The fans are like okay here, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I think like to your point, like coming in and already having like a group of people that you're going to be really close with definitely helps the transition for sure.
Yeah.
Kind of going, I guess when you're your sophomore year, because you guys made it to Allentown, you were an overtime goal away from making it to the Frozen Four, but like what was that experience like? And looking on this final stretch, do you ever look back at being in Allentown and using that as motivation to try and get back this year to the same spot?
I remember that game so clearly.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I remember like I wasn't in that game. I didn't play much my sophomore year, which it actually was a blessing in disguise because it made me appreciate other things that were very important. But I still remember watching that go in and just my heart like sank. Like, I never wanted to have that feeling again.
Yeah.
And I think like it's tough because in college, like guys go on and new guys come in, so it's hard to have the same experiences. But we try to relay that as much as possible. That like, there's nothing better than being on a winning team in Penn State. Like when we were there my sophomore year and we beat Michigan.
That was the craziest experience.
It was crazy.
Never heard that place get that loud.
Oh my gosh! I thought the roof was going to blow off the thing. Like it was just unbelievable.
You guys have loyal fans too.
Oh,
like even like, I mean, no offense, but like there have been times since I've been here that things were like really not going well. Like no matter what, you guys filled the rink every game. So I mean that has to mean a lot.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a testament to them. Like they've seen us at our worst and they've seen us at our best, and they still come back. Like I told our freshmen the other day, I was like, I mean, where else would you rather be? It's the students weren't even back yet. Pagula was packed. You know, when we were playing against Michigan State, it's like they're all like the townies that are here. The students aren't here yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, where else would you rather play?
Crazy.
And then last year too. I mean, the team, I wouldn't say had a down year, but took a dip obviously from a team that made it to Allentown, but just set like 3 out of the top 5 attendance records last year. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
On a down year.
Yeah. No, it's just like that, and that's why I love Penn State so much because the community like loves to support the athletic teams, and they love to support even when things aren't going well, and they're so passionate. And I see the same fans in the same seats every year. Like it's super special to play at a place like this for sure.
Yeah. What is your message as one of the leaders? What is your message to the team right now to be successful in the coming weeks?
Take pride in the process. There's a lot of great people that came here before us that played on this team that were from very different backgrounds and played in a lot less pedigree junior leagues than they've come, and they care about the program so much. So if you can't find it within yourself, you should find it within you to do it for those guys. Like, this is such an incredible place, and I think just playing with pride and passion is something that's going to help us succeed moving forward.
Yeah, and then lastly, this is a question we usually ask last is what is a piece of advice you would give to a younger kid playing hockey, you know, who dreams of being in your shoes one day?
That's tough because there's so many cliche answers to that. I'm trying to think of like what I would say.
We usually get like the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, like if you're in a space where you don't think like skill wise you can't make it, there's always guys on the team that like you're never gonna have 12 forwards that are all top in points, right? So if I were to give advice to a kid, it's find your niche and get really good at that. Whether that's academics, whether that's defense, whether that's killing penalties, power play, study the game as a whole, and just work every day. If you can like find it within yourself to work every day, like you're gonna be successful no matter what. But finding that niche is like super critical.
Yeah, that was great advice. Thanks so much, Dylan. You're
Thank
so
you, Dylan.
well spoken.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, of course.